Why has a trail runner in America got so much attention from people who normally could not care less about trail running and do not know Courtney Dauwalter from a bar of soap? And what does this have to do with endurance leadership? So I'm Suzanne Rath and you're listening to Endurance for your daily dose of endurance leadership and life lessons. And I, like many people, have been obsessed with Rachel Entrekin since she set not just the course record for women, but the outright course record in the Cocodona 250. But I see people sharing her interviews and her posts on my feed that I know have no interest in trail running, who had no interest when other massive events happened, like, for example, when Phil Gore set not just the Australian record, but the world record in the Backyard Ultra with this insane number of laps. And part of the reason, I think, is her post-race interview where she talks about the really real emotion of imposter syndrome. And so I went into a little bit of a search on some of the articles coming up about her. And I have been really pleased to see some stuff in publications like Psychology Today, where they talk about how if we experience discomfort that actually aligns with our values, that's a really real part of the human experience and meaning, because this 100% aligns with what I think. But what I wanted to talk about on today's episode of Endures is an article which I will share in the show notes called Inside the Mind of Rachel Entrekin. And this is in Outside Run. And there's so many things in this that really align with the Endures framework and with endurance leadership. So first of all, in vision. So what I found really interesting, because for me, vision is not just about arbitrary goals. It's about the big picture. It's about seeing what's possible. It's about courage to put ourselves in the arena. It's about things that align with our values, because so many of us can set big goals, we can hit them and we can feel empty. And this can happen in our business, our leadership, our lives, endurance sport. It doesn't matter. You know, we can set the goals or the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. And really it can mean nothing to us. So it has to align with our values. And what I found really interesting in this article is that Rachel took up running quite a number of years ago. And when she was a teenager, she used it as a form of control. She actually had an eating disorder. And she now runs for the community. She's part of this group where they run. If you run really long distances, you get free burritos. She used to run not even with a watch. It's just about putting yourself out there, seeing what's possible. And I love that because it really aligns with my own journey of running, where essentially I used to do it as a way to keep fit. I was pretty good. I'm certainly not like elite athlete level or anything, but you know, at times I was in this comparison is the thief of joy thing, right? Like when I was good, I was good. When I was slower than somebody I thought I should have been faster than, I was beating myself up. And I went through a whole reinvention of that running journey over the last few years where I really aligned it with my values and what was most meaningful to me. Now, the second thing that aligns with the endurance leadership journey is that navigation piece. So how did she get there? How did she get to the stage? And the thing is, because she had that big vision, for years, she was working out ways to get there. So for years, she was trying to be a full-time runner and trying to get the sponsorship deals, trying to financially set herself up to make it work. And, you know, she got there. And then she had to start putting in place things she'd never done before. So like speed work is a reasonably new thing to her, which again is so interesting. And then we have the drive. So drive's about discomfort, resilience. How do we push, but also how do we change pace or pivot? But I would suggest in life, you have to choose your heart. And so before she gave up her full-time job as a physical therapist, or as we would call it in Australia, a physiotherapist, she worked 50-hour weeks and she was still training. And so now she found herself in a financial position where she was kind of okay. No endurance athletes are rolling in money, right? Like there's no massive sponsorship deals, but she is willing to trade one level of discomfort for the achievement of a bigger goal because she wants to be a full-time runner, and all of a sudden she can actually put in the mileage she wants to put in. Now, of course, there's the use recovery piece, and she doesn't go into this in a major way in this article, but oh my goodness, like incredible, just such an achievement. In fact, she barely even recovers after the race. She stays to cheer all these other people on, from the second place person to the second place woman, who of course was Courtney Dauwalter, to handing the buckle to the last finisher before the cutoff. I don't actually think she slept at all. To, trying to respond to or deal with 9,000 Instagram DMs, which really brings me to another core piece of Endures, which is what underpins it all. I mean, it's all a cycle. It's all something we have to keep going through, but the support systems. So Rachel has really embraced the support systems around her, the friends she has through trail running, but also she pays that support forwards to other people. And it is such a beautiful thing to see. And such an important reminder to us that when we pursue excellence, when we do something that aligns with our values, when we adopt an attitude that givers gain, when we try to leave a legacy, when we, really align with our purpose, all of these things, that we can support others better, but naturally we build the support systems around ourselves to help us thrive. Now, I've skipped a couple of steps in the Endures framework there, so we don't really talk about how she's refocused and reset, aside from, after other races, which we all do as athletes. So we go, well, I can't say we all do, I certainly do. It's certainly a very healthy thing to do in our sport, in our lives, in our work, to go, what went well, what didn't go well, what can I change, what did I learn from it? What wins can I celebrate? What was amazing about it? And I've done that after last weekend of running in Margaret River. I could say, I was really slow. I didn't get the big wine glass. I got really bad blisters. Why would I do that? There was so many great things to reflect on that were amazing about the day, that's what I want to focus on. So that's obviously the fifth piece of Endures. And then the sixth piece is to elevate. Now, she's already got her sights set on the UTMB. It is going to be so amazing to see how she goes there. So she'll obviously take that time to recover from this amazing feat. She'll take the time, hopefully, to refocus and reset on that. But she's already got that next plan to elevate. So she's got her time planned to be in Europe, to practice on the technical terrain and set herself up for the best UTMB possible. Now, I, for one, cannot wait to hear how she goes. So if you haven't been following Rachel, I would encourage you to go to her post-race interview and just get a little bit of a dose of inspiration from what she's achieved. And a little bit of a kick, for all of us to try and do hard things and have the courage to put ourselves in the arena to do things that are meaningful to us. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow for more from Endures.